Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is, well, it's Monday night. That means it's fun again. Mondays are fun again with Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries. This is Book 3, the Book of the Raven. We are on Chapter 18, Wytchway. In just a few moments, I will regale you with a recap that is both to fill you in and remind you what happened last week, and also serve to tell Ricky what happened last week since he wasn't here. And as you can tell, we are without Dwight this evening as well. So Gary and Cari vying for the perfect attendance trophy at the end of the school year. But nonetheless, we will continue on with Mizya with us in spirit. Now might be a good time to tell you about domain tomes, since I just granted you one more domain tome. Thank you to Hawkmere, who just resubscribed for 13 months. Thanks, Hawkmere. Domain tomes are a way that you, the viewer, can have an influence on our game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs, cheering 500 bits, tipping $5, or you can join through the coffee link. Link is actually right down below me here. And you can become a member, or you can do one-off tips over there. One of the benefits of becoming a member is I work on fleshing out the rest of the benefits that you get from that. Is you get shouted out on the stream. So, of course, shouting out the Mini Terrain Domain heroes and adventurers. We have Hawkmere, we have Ashenworks, Brandon, and we have our Q Stefan, our own curator of the clips, supporting. You can simply type in this URL here, or you can type in !KOFI. To check that out. That is in place of a Patreon. That is how you can support Mini Terrain Domain. So keep that in mind. The domain tomes, of course, grant the players advantage for one tome. 3 tomes lets them re-roll a roll of a die, and 5 tomes will make me re-roll any dice roll and take the new result. So that's domain tomes. Real quick, I want to shout out our channel sponsors located down in the lower left-hand corner of the stream. First off, Talon and Claw. Of course, Talon and Claw are makers of fine wooden dice accessories, such as dice vaults, DM screens, coasters, cutting boards, and so much more. You check out their Etsy shop, and you can see all of the incredible things they got going on there. Wonderful collaborations with folks like 88 Riddles and others. So be sure to check that out. Use code MTDClaw when you check out to get 10% off of your order. Our other sponsor, who just finished up to kick off his birthday month, Keel over at Run Right Play, just celebrated Keel's big weekend. Just a lot of community games and events taking place throughout the weekend, because that's what Keel's all about, a community of collaboration. Check out Run Right Play on Patreon at the link in the chat, and you can get in on that community of collaboration and check out their monthly zine, both in digital and physical formats. I do want to say a huge congratulations to our very own Gary, who had an incredible Quest for the Cure side quest weekend. 3 adventures back to back to back. I got to DM the first one, Monsters Under the Bed, and then Cypher of Teera ran a group of adventurers through a wild goose chase in Avernus, and then Gary took his players on a finale adventure, and the goal was to reach about just over 2,200 for the day, which makes 30,000 for the year. Take a look at Gary's head, and you can tell the goal was achieved. Gary has not only a no-hawk, but whatever you call it when you go the other way, side to side across the top of the head.
There should be some mathy name for that, but I can't think of it.
My girlfriend Allie loves it. Let me tell you, whatever it is.
How do we get Gary to do a samurai? Just like pure razor bald, just the top head.
Sick. Yes. Yes.
Well, he's cut the middle out, so he can't do the top knot. You can do side knots.
Samurais used to do like the whole top of the head was bald, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Or the George Jefferson. However you want to phrase it, it doesn't matter. I just want that top.
Yes.
Well,
let's get close to 40,000, Ricky, and then we're done.
there you go.
Hey, I'm going to hold you to it.
Well,
go with the GJ.
Huge congratulations, Gary. Incredible work you're doing with Quest for the Cure, benefiting Jesse's journey, and ultimately the money going to benefit Duchenne muscular dystrophy research. It's incredible work that you've been doing all year. You put a lot of yourself and your time and your effort into that. I know I speak for myself and others here at MTD that we are happy and excited to be a part of that in any way we can. But huge congratulations to you, sir. Chat, show your appreciation to Gary and the work he's done with a whole flood of emotes for him there in the chat. I think that's it for our regular announcements. I do, of course, want to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. You might be struggling. You might just be struggling with some anxiety. You might be struggling with depression. You might be just struggling with any number of things. First off, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to struggle. I've been very open about my own struggles. I recently increased the amount of time that I go talk to my therapist, and thank goodness, because this weekend, out of the blue, had a massive panic attack, and a stranger helped me out. It was something simple with the car wash, one of those where you have to pull your car in and just sit there for 10 minutes. Right before I went in, I had a panic attack. I couldn't go in. The guy that ran the place, never seen him before. He introduced himself to me and said, "Hey, why don't you walk around the building, get a breath of fresh air? I'll drive your truck in." I waited on the other side. He drove my truck to me and told me to have a wonderful day. And that made all the difference, because I didn't have to lose out on the money I'd paid for the car wash. I didn't have to back out. But all of that is to say, all of us struggle to some degree, and recognizing that you need help is what's important. I recognized that I needed some help, and a couple years ago, and so I reached out to find a therapist, and I'm glad I did, because they've helped me to learn how to cope with those types of panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And I know I get to talk to them tomorrow because I have another therapy appointment. So, but if you find yourself in the similar situation, but you don't know who to talk to, all you have to do is type !help in the chat like I just did. Go now, click on that link, findahelpline.com. Bookmark it, save it for yourself for later, save it for a friend. It's a wonderful resource. You simply put in where you're located in the world, and somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15 or 20 help services will pop up. Everything from mental health, domestic abuse, all kinds of things, you name it. So please do bookmark that and use that resource. We really want you to. All right, I think it is time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. So, the gang are on a bit of a quest, following up a lead on a book that was quite literally brought to Teera by a raven. And the book showed signs that had previously been in Candlekeep, and it was confirmed, yes, in fact, this book has been in here and mysteriously keeps disappearing from time to time. But they also found a mysterious map within the book. And they've decided to follow up on it as officially researching the mystery of this book for the Candlekeep Library. Along the way, they decided to take a slight detour, hunting ducks, and then almost getting waylaid by a bunch of wild boar. If you're wondering how that turned out, just look at the grease stains from all of the cooked boar that they all no doubt have on their armor and cloaks at this point. But as they made camp on the second day of their journey, having left the road and heading in through some wooded areas and rolling hills towards the mountains, they set up camp for the night. And in the middle of the night, while on guard duty, the full moon rose, and Assyria found herself running wild on 4 legs through the forest, having been transformed into a large, almost silvery maned wolf.
Also, and this is neither here nor there, Assyria had also been being kind of a bitch, and I'll say it. I'm just gonna say she was a little testy.
Valid.
Yeah.
She was a little testy, like
She
that
was
whole
a little
day.
irritable. A little irritable.
You know, I have
Just
no
saying.
idea what that's like having 4 women. I live with 3 women.
You're outnumbered,
Ricky, stop.
Ricky.
Ricky, stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Can I stop?
I
I'll
grew
stop.
up with 4 sisters, and I know not to
Blink
say
twice.
anything.
Ricky, blink twice if you're in trouble.
I'm not right now. Not right now. I'm in a good week.
They're all right behind you.
Yep.
Yeah, all of a sudden you just see rise from the darkness. Oh my God.
I seriously checked out my fridge
Right.
door to make sure.
So, as Assyria followed Soren and the two of them gave in to their instincts, they worked together. And I might add, Assyria did most of the work in taking down, in her wolf form, taking down an owl bear and proceeded to feast on it. While the wolves were feasting, Vorn and Teera, hearing noises, being awakened, Doc and Mizya were also on alert as well, but Teera and Vorn saw what was happening, but what they saw was Soren with another wolf feasting on the carcass of this deer. But the next morning, when Assyria had still not returned and they all investigated, they returned to this location to find a now naked and blood-covered Assyria lying next to the owlbear carcass, along with Soren. And Teera took off her cloak and wrapped it around Assyria to cover her. What?
I'm sorry, Robo. I killed the owlbear because it was gonna kill
Oh, is
me
he
in my
is
wolf
Robo
form.
giving you?
Oh.
Y'all coming for me for that?
Listen.
I'm
No.
sorry.
It's
I
the
love
circle of
owlbears.
life, Robo.
He had it
I
coming.
love you. I love owlbears. I'm sorry, Robo. I love you.
Would it make you feel better if I said it was a rabid owl bear? It wasn't. But would it make you feel better if I said that it was?
I don't mind.
Not
But
you.
Robo-
I'm talking to Robo now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
it was a rabid owlbear. Now,
But
Assyria has rabies.
It's rabies.
Right.
How
Yeah.
is that better?
Well,
That's not bad.
we'll see how you deal with it.
Gonna be afraid of water.
But I
We
just
will-
love that Gary was so quick to throw me under the bus with that in chat. Thank you, Gary.
Phenomenal.
So I knew I didn't say anything, but I could tell from the look on your face. So Teera had wrapped her cloak around you, Assyria. Vorn had grabbed your armor where it had fallen away when you had transformed. We open up on the campfire. It's morning, golden rays of sunlight, the spring morning air still a bit cool. The fire is crackling. the fresh kindling and wood placed in there, still popping and snapping. And as we zoom out from the fire, we see Assyria sitting there. At the very least, well, you tell us if you would have yet put your armor on or partially dressed, or are you still wrapped in Teera's cloak?
I think probably with a little help because she is one very sore, and also very tired. Probably dipped into like a tent or something like that, to kind of carefully dress.
I think based on something that some actions and words that Mizya said last week, I think you would find that Mizya would be there.
Yeah. Helping
you. Not saying anything, no judgment or anything, but they would be just helping you to wipe away, probably prestidigitating away some of the blood and
possibly the biggest plot twist so far of this campaign. Mizya was nice.
Yeah, Mizya was very nice.
Yes.
Yes. As Mizya just quietly helps you get your at the very least get your small clothes and your trousers and tunic and stuff on, and then would probably lead you out to the fire where you're now sitting. And as we pan back, I'm going to turn it over to all of you to react to what happened in this new discovery.
Teera kind of wouldn't say anything. This has all been pretty embarrassing for Assyria, probably, and I don't want to I just want to let her be able to ease into the shallow end of this conversation. Teera is drinking, surprising nobody, and probably eating some more boar.
Conveniently, Doc doesn't know what happened.
Oh yeah, until you say something, I guess Mizya doesn't know what happened yet either.
Well, I don't know if that's entirely true because Mizya and Teera were the ones that were.
Oh, it was Mizya and Teera. That's right. I kept saying Vorn, but it was Mizya that went with Teera.
Vorn went to go get my stuff.
Right.
Because I showed the mark to
Vorn.
Teera,
that's right. Because I kept rolling, and Vorn kept. I kept rolling for you, Ricky, and I rolled true to form. You never heard anything. You never woke up until later in the morning when they were bringing Assyria back, and then they sent you back to go get the armor and stuff.
Right.
So.
And I only saw it after they came back and got me because they didn't wake me up when they went to check out the first time.
It was a whole thing, yeah.
Yeah. So nonetheless, there's still a lot of questions.
Okay.
Ricky, you're muted.
That makes sense. I pushed the button because I was burping.
Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah, that was rude to burp into the mic. So Vorn doesn't know that Assyria turned to a full wolf, correct? Okay. All right. So Vorn's looking around. What is Assyria doing right now?
She's probably after giving Teera a questioning look, is still honestly kind of wearing the cloak almost as like a security blanket right now. She's probably looking very pale and isn't properly sitting on a tree stump. She's sitting on the ground and just very much leaning. She looks exhausted. So every now and then you kind of see her doing the head bob. As she's kind of, you see she keeps drifting off into thought, trying to connect dots together, but every so often just sleep is nah, you go sleep now. So
yeah,
keeps coming in waves.
Vorn looks up to the sky. Is it a cloudy night? Partially? Is it clear?
It's morning.
It's morning.
Morning.
It's morning. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
It was the previous night was clear and
Okay.
full moon.
Okay. All right. Well, Vorn still is gonna look up in the sky. You know how sometimes in the morning you can still see the moon? Is it still present at all?
I would say no.
No.
No, because of the fact that Assyria transformed back.
Hmm.
The moon is probably traversed to the other side and below the
Okay.
tree line.
Okay. All right.
Teera is making coffee. Eventually, when it's done, she doesn't really say anything to Assyria, but she hands her a cup.
Thank you. Just gonna take the cup.
Vorn, like a blunt social object, goes, anybody want any bacon? And goes and begins to make some breakfast in a skillet over the fire and sizzle something up to eat.
Teera holds up her big greasy hunk of meat that she's already eating and just sort of like shows it because I don't want any more, but thank you. Doc. If I turned over to Doc and I'm like, Doc, we know you don't want any. You could just say no, thank you, and be polite about it. It's really good and we really like it.
His face doesn't tell you I don't want any?
No, it does, but that's not the point.
Well, then why do I need to say it?
You could
If-
just say
if
it.
you already
and
know, why do I need to say
You
it?
could say it
Oh.
instead of making a face. What? Oh, and then I
Stop
noticed
arguing,
Assyria's having a
please.
hard time.
Is that what an argument is?
Yes.
Oh,
But Teera is right. You could just say versus making that face.
Sarah, you're right. I could.
Sarah, are you okay?
It's just loud. Lot of... Ever had? I'm sure you have a very bad hangover.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
been a
you weren't
minute.
talking to
It's
me.
very much like that.
Mm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not your fault.
What's Mizya doing?
You're just going for that. Yes, yes.
I think Mizya.
Mrs. Delicate.
I think we need to get a Mizya bell every time Dwight's gone, and we ring the bell every time.
We need to have Dwight record a few like sound bites.
Yeah,
just
I need
so-
a Mizya soundboard.
I just look over at Mizya to see what Mizya's doing. That's all.
Huh?
So-
Mizya-
doing.
Mizya is seated nearby, is sipping on some coffee, and does have a small plate of a little bit of the boar meat, whatever you've cooked up, and is just lightly picking at it and sipping. She's over there sipping at her cup of coffee, more just sort of blowing across it and just keeping an eye on Assyria.
As Vorn looks around, he cracks an egg into like the little small skillet that he's cooking the bacon in. He looks over at the duck that's over Doc, and it's like, it's not a duck egg.
Oh,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It is springtime, the perfect time to find lots of bird eggs.
Yeah. This one's not a duck. Look how small it is. This is, I'm gonna need like, and I have like 7 of them that I have to crack to make like a 3-egg omelet. Like it's gonna take all day. So it's just not.
I mean,
I'm not making this better, am I? Look over this.
no.
Einstein Jr. is a boy. So even if it was a duck egg, it wouldn't be his duck egg.
Well, he came from a duck egg, though.
Right.
I would think he would care, at least.
Do you care?
Ah,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
rah, rah.
Maybe he cares. I do not know.
Gary, roll a D100.
Oh no.
Does he understand?
Oh
My fault.
no.
What
I'm sorry,
percentage?
everybody.
The duck
Oh,
is gonna say
Nothing
yes,
to apologize
yes.
for.
3.
Here's, it's a duck.
3. Okay, I'm just rolling to see whether or not he's right about Einstein Jr. being a male duck.
Ooh.
Ooh, good point.
Good point.
Okay.
Very presumptuous.
Assyria, it's worth noting that as you're all sitting around the fire here, that Soren has not left your side. He is pressed in against your legs, and with everybody eating around you and Vorn cooking up some more food, you are full.
Yeah,
You-
I'm very full.
But you are not stuffed. You're not uncomfortably full. You feel no hunger. You feel very satisfied from whatever it was. In fact, roll me a wisdom check.
All right, I'm using the dice from Saturday. To give context, they rolled 3 1s in a row. Let's see.
You used them all up.
Hey. Net 20.
I knew it.
All right, you said a wisdom check, correct?
Yep, it was just a check, straight
Okay.
check.
22.
You remember everything that happened
Oh.
last night. Sometimes, that's what this check was, to see if you only had a vague memory. You know exactly why you're full.
Okay. I think you see, if it's even possible, Saria looking even paler. And she just quickly puts down her coffee and
Translucent.
starts reaching for water instead. She's also gonna take a moment, kind of seeing that everybody's somewhat relaxing. She's gonna take a listen to the environment. She's having like a moment where she's feeling a little you remember in the night, wait, is somebody else here kind of thing. She's just having a moment and worried that maybe another traveling group is in the area, because she can sense that they're going to probably be having a very serious conversation.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check. I would like you to do so at advantage.
Okay. I should have I need to re-roll that wisdom, don't I? Because I have disadvantage on checks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
you're
let's
gonna
re-roll
Let me-
that because
be
you're
honest.
three levels of exhaustion. This could change everything.
1.
No.
I'm not kidding. It's 1.
Re-roll
I am
that
not-
shit. You
I
gotta
will
know
re-roll
more
it.
than a
I will
one.
re-roll it. I
All
will
right,
re-roll it.
let's
Oh, you gotta embrace the nat ones.
I can, yeah. Okay, that's better. That's gonna be a 14.
Okay, you remember everything that happened. Not as an intense detail, but if
Got
it
it.
weren't for waking up where you woke up in the blood, you might have believed it to be a dream. Your perception check would normally be at advantage, so because of it'll be a straight roll.
Got it.
Because of your exhaustion.
That is going to be an 11.
As far as you can tell, there's nobody around. I mean, you guys left the road over a day ago. You've been sort of traveling cross country, so it's even less likely that other travelers would be moving through this area. So yeah.
Okay.
At this point, Teera kind of stands up and like stretches and just sort of is standing. And it's just like, well, are we going to keep moving today, or are we going to take the day to rest and recoup? I mean, we've extended this journey for less. And Teera kind of looks over at Einstein Jr. on Doc's head. Like, one more day ain't going to hurt.
Sorry, the cat behind you really wanting your attention.
She is absolutely crazy right now. The air conditioning in my house just went kaput, and so I've had to have all the windows open, so they are feral
Oh no.
right now. I apologize.
No, you're fine. I think Asaria will kind of straighten up slightly. No, I don't think we should extend the trip any further, because I think we only had a time limit, didn't we? Or a deadline. prefer if we met it.
You didn't have a deadline.
We didn't
Didn't
have a deadline.
Okay. I don't know why I thought we had a
I
deadline.
feel like there's some omniscient being urging us forward,
Yeah.
naming the segments of our journey, but I
feel
could be
that too.
wrong.
If anything, Mizya's the one who seems to be like, yes, let's get going.
That's fine. But I just Teera just kind of shrugs. He's like, well, I was gonna go in the woods and take a piss. I just wanted to know if I should come back with more firewood.
I probably should not be making the decisions right now, so I'll leave that up to you and the group. I'm still
Vaughn,
kind of-
Mizya, Doc, preferences?
Vorn with a mouthful of whatever eggs he managed to find, and pieces of boar bacon is like,
Oh,
yeah, we're ready to go. He's got tusk.
I know.
Yeah,
I just hate. I
it's
hate. I hate that noise. Yeah.
I know. I hate it too. That's why I did it.
No.
I'm a masochist.
Visceral.
Ugh.
Doc, do you have any preference?
I do not. But I will say that it's a good thing we don't have a deadline, because if we had a deadline, I don't think we'd ever meet it.
You're right. We tend to get sidetracked. Mizya, what about you? You want to keep going?
I think we're fine if we take a little bit of extra time before we get going. There's plenty of room in the wagon for Asaria to rest.
Sounds good to me.
We can take at least part of this day. It's like morning right now.
Yeah.
It's like early morning, so
Okay. So we can, at the very least, take the morning and maybe reassess how we're feeling around noon. Maybe a little later.
I think that sounds good.
Perfect.
She will turn kind of quietly back. What, Doc?
Hmm?
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand, Doc.
No, I was feeding Einstein Jr. a cricket.
Mhm.
I mean, I think he might have eaten some of my hair, because my hair looks weird. But
Mm-hmm.
because he usually eats the crickets, but see, this one he didn't eat.
He might be cool.
are you
From
sure?
my hair?
Are you sure it wasn't the boar attacks? Because they were razorbacks.
Oh, yay. Congratulations.
All right, that was for Gary. Gary loves my jokes and puns.
So at this point, Teera does like kind of march off into the woods and is like, well, suit yourself. We'll talk again at noon, I guess. I'll be right
Yeah.
back. Teera's going in the woods to find a place to pee.
She's going to be gone for 3 hours?
No.
Hopefully not.
You can fast forward to a little bit later. Still around as you're still sitting around, probably, I imagine if you wanted to, a couple of you could have started to pack some things up, but
Mm-hmm.
Asaria, if you were wanting to talk to anybody or talk to the party, you could do so in this time.
Okay. I think she'll wait for everybody to. She's not really good with people, so she's feeling all of a sudden very first day of school, first day of meeting everybody again, kind of trying to acclimate. But
As we're-
probably. Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say I could approach first.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably as the group is starting to get ready or reconvene, she'll kind of poke at the fire as probably the embers are still going as it's about to go out.
Hold on. Before Teera approaches, Vorn just has a quick question for Syria.
Sure.
And he looks over and he says, something weighing on you?
Huh.
I know a burden when I see one.
You could say that.
Hey. Yeah, they come and they go. And some stick around for a while. And
Sounds
Vorn
like-
just kind of goes back to packing his bag and kind of sensing the body language and the feeling of Assyria.
Yeah. She's
Go ahead,
still
sir.
a bit out of it, but she'll wait for everybody to kind of get together. If she had more energy, she'd be up and pacing. So probably Teera and Vorn, you can probably sense that energy kind of coming off of her.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we should talk about last night. And it's not altogether clear to me. I have a pretty good idea of what happened. And she starts kind of looking down for a moment and then looks at the group. I'm very sorry for my behavior yesterday. I was not acting myself. I wasn't feeling good, but just because I'm not feeling good, that's not an excuse to lash out at anybody. So I do apologize for that. I should kind of awkwardly look around again. So I know at least Teera and Mizya have a pretty good idea of what happened. Doc, you saw a wolf last night, didn't you?
Mhm.
Besides Soren.
I saw Soren's girlfriend or boyfriend. Whatever works. I don't judge. And we decided because Soren was there with his girlfriend or boyfriend, that we were going to leave him
I put
alone.
my hand on Doc's chest, and I'm like,
If only it was that simple.
He's going to look down at Tira's hand. It's like, what?
just it's fine, Doc. It's just we don't know. Maybe let Asaria explain, huh?
That was me.
What was you?
I was the wolf.
Soren's girlfriend?
At this point,
Not
Vorn has
Soren's girlfriend. I'm just going to throw that out there.
at this point Vorn has literally 2% more understanding than Doc does.
Okay, so I don't even know where exactly to begin. I haven't known about this for long. Literally, our last mission is when I started poking around. I've had a. Let's start from the beginning. I grew up in a small town a little bit outside of Daggerford. You probably have never heard of it. It's not on a map. It's not. To be honest, I don't think there's anything left. But I lived there with my mother and my father and my brother. And great home, great parents for the most part. But about 5 years ago, I was out in the woods. It was late. It's cold. It's a very cold winter night. And I don't know if I got lost or what. But everything fades into darkness at that point. I woke up later and I was in the woods near my house, near the town itself, without my armor, without any weapon, without my clothes. And I didn't think I was going to make it back. One thing that I did have with me, though, was this marking. And at this point, she'll kind of very gingerly, because she knows it's sore, kind of pull back her leather armor to show this. It looks almost like a bird flying in the sky, carved into the left side. I had that. It really hurt. It hurts now. I tried to make it home. But the pain started to get worse, started to get colder. And then I started to hear the wolves. Now, I thought at the time that they took pity on me and just brought me back to their den. But I guess there was something else to that story. That's how I met Soren here, because he was just a little pup in the den. Stayed there for a few days and tried to go back home. Pain got worse again. I tried again. This time I was able to make it home, but everything was in flames. The town was gone. My family was nowhere to be seen. I was able to go through the wreckage of the house and pull out my sword, and she'll gesture over to the long sword. It's my father's. And I've been looking to see where they've been at, hoping beyond all hope that perhaps they're all right. I left the village that day, and I haven't been back. And this mark I've had for 5 years, and nothing's happened. Our last mission we went on, you remember we were talking to the were jackals and all of that. I asked if they would take a look. With an answer that I hadn't been prodding at for the last 5 years, but maybe I would have an answer. Or maybe they wouldn't know, which would be an answer in itself. Apparently, a very powerful lycanthrope has marked me. What that means fully, I don't know. Up until about 2-3 days ago, I didn't even believe anything would happen. To my knowledge, nothing has happened for 5 years. So that's why I was a little bit wary about leaving Candlekeep, because I wanted to poke around the library a little bit more. But then the fear of if this thing acted up and God knows what, or hurting any of you. And I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you, but it's not like we're all super close. Heck, I don't even know, Teera, your favorite color. How can I say, hi, I'm a Saria, and I might turn into a wolf or something? I don't know. I'm so sorry. And I understand if you want me to leave, I understand it completely.
Asaria, if we wanted to leave, we'd be gone already. If we wanted you to, not to get too dark, but if we wanted you to be gone, you'd be gone already.
Syria, don't
What?
apologize for what you are. Not ever.
I don't know
You-
what I am, though.
And none of us do. We're all walking along this journey together. You saved all of our lives more than we can count. No, don't apologize at all. We don't know each other that well yet, but none of us need to apologize for who we are, especially you.
don't know what to do for the next step.
When we get back to Candlekeep, we'll stay there for a while, yeah? And you can read all the books your nerdy little heart desires.
I'm not the nerd. My brother was. Believe me, I like forest more than I like actually reading books.
And
Do you know for a fact that your brother's gone?
I had no idea. The whole town was gone. My my mother, my father especially had a duty in the woods. He would often lead parties through there. The woods could be very confusing and dangerous. So he was essentially the head scout. People would hire him, nobility merchants, to help have him guide through the forest. My father loved those woods. My mother not so much. But my
And-
father wouldn't have just left us. My brother wouldn't have either. And the first place he would have gone had my brother been around would be Candlekeep. I
and
was hoping to find him.
none of us know what the next step is. It's just that we all take it together, right? You've saved us, you have had my back, and yeah, if we can agree to at least trust one another, take that step together
Mhm.
into the darkness, the first step of faith, right?
Doc is going to look at Assaria. He's been quiet for a very long time, listening to her story, and everyone else is talking. And he's going to look at Assaria and he's going to say, "May I take a look at your mark?"
Sure.
He's going to bring out his magnifying glass and he's going to look at it, and he's going to investigate the mark, and unwittingly he is going to use his knowledge from a past life feature to add a benefit to his roll.
Oh.
And I'm going to use a tome to roll with advantage. Okay, well, all right. So advantage was great. I rolled a 20. My investigation on her mark is 31.
Oh.
Oh,
Doc. As you are looking at this mark with your magnifying glass, at first you see the medical condition, which is this looks like a brand that was seared into her flesh. It is, and it looks like it was done just yesterday, because right now this mark is angry red and looks fresh. As you look past the initial superficial or surface trauma of the mark and start to see it for what it is, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
8.
oh no!
Doc, you have a sudden flash of something you're not sure. With that failed saving throw, all of you, especially you, Assyria, you would notice Doc sort of recoil for a moment. And Doc, in that instant, you see this exact symbol drawn on parchment, lying on a desk, having just been freshly drawn in ink. You see a quill being set down next to this drawing, and you recognize your own hand placing the drawing, or placing the mark, the quill next to this mark.
I just remembered something. Oh my god.
So Doc is going to recoil from Asaria a little bit. And he's going to pull something out of his bag, some herbs, and he's going to chew it up, and he's going to rub it together on his hand, and he's going to say, "May I?" And he's going to gently rub the herb from his alchemist kit onto her wound gently, because he recognizes that it is still tender. And he's going to say, "It seems like it's a very powerful mark." And then he's going to rub the compress onto her wound, and he's going to nod, and he's going to step away.
Thank you. Yeah, the only information I have it was from a very powerful ancient lycanthrope. And I'm getting the strangest of dreams, but that's about it. The cloaked figure, I can't actually see them, but that's all I have to go on at this point. I almost attacked you last night.
Yeah.
Soren stopped me.
You, Soren. And I chuck Soren like the last bite of the meat I was eating.
We'll have to figure out something. I don't know if this is going to happen every full moon or...
That would make sense.
We all have something inside of us that we need to control. Eventually you'll figure out how to do it. And Doc is going to pull out a slide like you would see on a magnifying glass, similar to the one that he gave Teera. And he's gonna cover his hands on it, and he's gonna hand it to Asaria. And it's a picture of a flower, and it says, "You are who you are."
Oh
my god!
Oh.
Oh, Doc. That's quite lovely.
Like most flowers, it won't last forever. But when it disappears, you'll know that you didn't need it anymore.
Thank you. I'll keep this with my trinkets. Thank you.
And Doc is going to he's going to stand, and he's going to say, "Excuse me, I have something to do in the woods." And he's going to turn and walk away.
Teera says, "Yeah, I have something to do in the woods too. It's pretty dusty here, and I'm gonna go find somewhere where it's not so dusty. And also, I have to pee again.
Okay.
We should probably be ready to go within the hour."
All right.
Navorn looks over at Mizya.
Mizya has been just listening with rapt attention and slowly nodding. And I imagine at some point they pulled a handkerchief out and handed it to Asaria.
Oh. She is using it. Both her and I were literally crying. So yes. Yeah.
And Vorn looks over at Assyria and says, "It took a lot of courage to say what you said and to come out. That means something."
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm I'm trying. I'm not used to having friends. I'm used to people just leaving. So it's a little harder for me to kind of let those walls down. But to have any success with whatever we're doing, there has to be a level of trust.
Yeah, and with trust comes vulnerability.
True.
Hey,
Very true.
got your back.
Thank you.
Vorn just kind of does a head nod and then goes off into the wood, and he's going to try to lift up branches and axes with his new telepathy. Poorly. Yeah, like like Luke Skywalker did.
Like I was
Mhm.
just gonna say,
yeah,
yeah,
Mhm.
trying
you're
to.
lifting an X-wing out of a swamp. I figured.
Yeah, but it's literally like a pebble. It's like a handful of pebbles. It's not much.
Awesome.
Mizya stands up and says, well, or actually stands up and says, yes, well, we need to start getting packed up.
Mhm.
And you'll see that they make a little gesture and then speak into the open air and said, well, the wagon's not going to pack itself. And you see Mizya's pack sort of lift up off the ground, and as they cast Unseen Servant to move all their stuff. And you'll notice, Asaria, that Mizya is moving all of her stuff toward the back of the wagon and has arranged their Unseen Servant moves your stuff into your pack and stuff into the wagon near the front of it. And Mizya has moved sort of towards the back of the wagon and has the parasol that you made sort of stuck in between the wooden slats, so it'll form a nice shade for them as you all start going about getting ready to take off. Doc, what are you doing in the woods?
Doc is has found an open patch of ground that is surrounded by trees, and he is lying on the ground, looking up at the sky.
Okay. Would you wait for somebody to come get you, or would you return at some time?
He is going to wait there until found.
At some point, everything is packed. The horses are gathered. Everybody is ready to go. Mizya is sitting in the back of the wagon with their spell book open on their knees, but is looking out and around and just sort of impatiently taps their hand on the back panel of the wagon. Yes, I believe we should be going now. Where
No, we're just-
is Doc?
I don't know.
I'll run out and see if I can find him. You guys finish up whatever is left to be done. I'll be right back. And I go and can I make a survival check to try to find him?
Sure.
Okay. I will. It's a 9.
You are walking around and you do one of those things where, because you're not expecting Doc to be laying on the ground, you're not looking there. You absolutely come around a tree and you just sort of trip over Doc's massive form lying flat on its back looking up between the trees.
Seeing that he's just laying there and didn't do anything when I was like, Doc, holy shit, are you okay? Doc, and I kind of fall to my knees and I'm tapping him on the face. You all right, Doc? Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, I'm fine. Why are you touching me?
Well, you scared me, Doc. You didn't say anything when did you hear me coming?
I wasn't really listening. Maybe.
What the hell were you doing? Taking a nap?
That's kind of a silly question. I don't
Well, how
sleep.
about I forgot. Well, what were you doing laying here if you weren't taking a nap?
I was laying on the ground and I was looking up at the sky.
Why?
Why does anyone do anything? It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well, it would have been a better idea if you helped us pack up the cart.
Did
Are
the
you
cart
okay?
did the cart get packed up?
Yeah, it did. It was
we-
harder without you.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah, we're just about ready to go. Doc, are you okay? Doc, you remember when we talked about like love and when you feel something in your chest? Do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
Did you feel anything in your chest when Asaria was telling us about her story?
No.
Can I make an insight check on Doc? Please. I'm gonna. Yeah. That's a 13.
I guess I have to roll deception. 7.
You tell me. Does Doc seem deceptive?
Maybe. Can't quite tell.
Teera like kind of squints and is like, Doc, it's just the two of us. They don't know whether or not I found you yet. Are you embarrassed?
Embarrassed. No. I don't think so.
You sat back all of a sudden when Asaria showed you a mark,
Mm-hmm.
like you were surprised. Do you know what surprised means?
Yes, it's when something is unexpected. I know what
Yeah.
surprise is.
Did Asaria's mark surprise you?
No,
Did something about Asaria's mark make you feel in a way that surprised you?
it looked like it hurt. I was happy to help her.
Doc, do you know anything about before you were reborn?
Can you really know anything before you were born? Is that a thing that can happen?
I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me.
Sounds like something I couldn't say for sure. But if I think of something, maybe I'll let you know.
Teera just kind of smiles and like pats Doc on the chest. He's like, please do. And she looks at his little like name tag that says, does it say Doc or does it say Doctor?
It says doctor.
Does it say anything else? Or does it look like it once
It
said
looks
anything
like
else?
it looks like it's so it says doctor, and then it looks like the end of the name has been torn away by something.
And then she just kind of like pats Doc one last time, like right on that. Like, we should probably go.
Okay. How are you?
Great.
That's good, especially since Asaria almost beat you in a combat.
She did not almost beat me. And then I'm saying this as I'm walking away. I'm like, I had her from the very beginning.
Doc will stand up and he's going to glance down at the patch on his shirt that says doctor. It's like, I'm the only person in this party that says doctor on his shirt. Why do they keep doing this?
Doc, you don't know shit about fighting. I'm the one who knows about fighting. And Teera just kind of like trails off as she's walking back towards everybody else.
Do you know how many liters of blood there are in the human body?
I don't know what a liter is.
Well, there's a lot, and you had a lot of it on the ground.
Yeah, okay.
And then there was a lot of it under your skin where Asaria was bruising you too.
Yeah, well,
Do you know what a concussion is?
No, I don't. What is it?
You had one.
Okay.
I just imagine this sort of fading out as the two of you walk back towards where everybody's getting ready to leave, and we just see this camera angle sort of panning up, and we just hear
Hear the
Doc
banter as
and Teera's banter as they mount up on horses, and we see the wagon and the horses begin heading off, and that is where we are going to take a break.
Awesome. Perfect. Good.
Thank you, everybody who has tuned in so far for this absolutely stunning roleplay in this first half of this game. Please stick around. We've got more D&D. We're going to take a brief 10-minute break, and we will see you on the other side. All right, we're back. The gang has been loaded up on the road. Assyria, you are very calmly, comfortably riding in the wagon with Mizya, resting up. Because you are taking the entire day to do so, I'm actually gonna let you remove one level of exhaustion when at the end of the day. You all continue along the more or less southern route as you are heading toward what you believe to be roughly your destination, knowing only that it's supposed to be following this route there, that this place called Wytchway, the beginning of this map, should be located around here somewhere. The weather is very nice. Today is the is it the first?
Jake has been keeping a very exact calendar, everybody.
The second day of Myrtle, which is also known as the melting, which is the month right after green grass, which is when it officially becomes spring. You were traveling on the day of green grass, which is one of the 5 high holidays that occurs between months. Yesterday was the first of Myrtle, which was the full moon when Assyria turned, and today is the second of Myrtle. The weather is starting to push during the day into the mid-60s. There's a light breeze. There's big white fluffy clouds in the sky. Blue sky with the mostly around here mostly evergreen trees contrasting sharply. The long grasses are beginning to you're starting to see a lot of the darker greens. You're just starting to see some white, pink, yellow blossoms appearing in small flowering plants. A lot of the trees have already budded out in this area and are starting to leaf nicely. So spring is in full swing. Your day of travel today is very uneventful. You're able to have a nice, quiet midday break. Barely, not even doing more so than just pulling everything over to the side of the trail and taking a brief break and
what
then
what is the high holiday called? Is it called
green grass?
The day is called green grass.
Yes.
Teera pours herself a midday drink. Say happy green grass, everyone. Did you remember? Doc, why are you looking at me like that? If you don't want to drink, just don't drink. You don't have to judge everybody. You're not like holidays either. Anything fun.
You're right, Teera. I don't have to.
Are you choosing to? Are you trying to piss me off?
Easy, Teera. You know he doesn't mean anything by it. Happy Green Day. Green Grass Day. For Grass Day.
So
I don't want to be an American idiot.
what I'm learning here, without even having to do history rolls, is Teera comes from a tribe that observes at least some of the high holidays, and Vorn comes from a tribe that didn't observe the high holidays.
Absolutely not.
Where we lived, we had to be very conscious of the calendar because the seasons did not necessarily indicate like when the freaking things happened. We were further enough north, so we had to keep like very conscious effort of like the days and when things happened.
I would say mostly, go ahead, anybody who wants to, make a history roll. And this is going to be an example of what I do. It's not so much whether you pass or fail, but it's a tiered history roll. The higher you roll, the more information you know about a thing.
So, Teera, are you talking
7.
about your orc tribe, or are you talking about your pre-tribe before your tribe?
I mean, everybody knows green grass, right? Did you know it was green grass today?
It was actually 2 days ago.
I mean, oh, sorry. I didn't know how long we've been on the road.
You mean 2 days ago?
Yes. Sneaky shit. I mean, both. We celebrated green grass more. And then I just kind of like mum up like both.
What'd you guys get on history rolls?
7.
22.
Wait, what?
22.
Okay, I heard like 3 numbers simultaneously. Ricky, what'd you get?
Hold on, I have to roll my history roll.
Asteria's passed out of sleep, so she's
Okay.
not going to be partaking.
I was messing around and not rolling.
Got a 7.
Here we go. History.
Whoa.
Did it roll? All right, it's not rolling.
You could roll your
Real
physical die
dice.
Why would I do that?
if you're feeling.
If it's not rolling,
brave.
try refreshing your character sheet. It might just need a refresh.
That makes sense. I haven't done anything with it tonight. All right, we're back up and
Green Day. Awesome, bro.
Having some troubles with
come
those
back to
electric.
me. I got
Okay,
Mhm.
so
You're the only one left.
Yeah, you're the only one left.
Ricky, I can roll for
Ricky.
you. I have a set of Ricky dice out.
Get some physical dice.
I refuse.
Ricky, do you want me to roll for you just this once?
No.
Okay.
All right, we'll keep waiting then. Everybody
Here.
look at Ricky.
I'm gonna try something. I want to see what's going on here. I rolled on your character sheet just fine and rolled what you probably would have rolled, which is a 2.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. And so long as it's electronic, I'll take it.
Yep,
It's
I
like
rolled on
this is-
your character sheet with your
Wow.
history skill.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't really know what this green grass is,
Yeah.
as far as a celebration, but Doc, everybody, I mean, Teera, for you know it more so as it affected trade between your villages and larger villages, because during the high holidays it's difficult to do much, particularly in bigger cities, or expect anything from bigger cities. You may even have seen within your tribe that there were, after the celebrations, the wealthy people of any nearby city would deliver basically like food baskets to the outlying tribes. It's common for the wealthier people to give to the less wealthy. Often in the larger cities, they give to those who are less fortunate. A lot of the and this is more stuff, Doc. You somehow just had this categorical knowledge of the high holiday. You know that many of the different deities in larger cities and in smaller places where there's temples. Many of the different temples hold dedicated services depending on who their deity is and how they view which is that day, which is considered to be a renewal of all things after the winter.
And so Greengrass was 2 days ago.
Yes.
So Doc will look at Teera and he'll say, Teera,
What's up?
where you're from, did Greengrass last 72 hours? Or did they just make the third day after the holiday something different?
Yes. I mean, there was a lot of drinking, Doc. It all kind of just ran together.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
It was great. I mean, yeah, it was a good time.
Okay.
Any excuse to drink in an Orc clan, huh? And I punched Doc on the peck.
I guess. I mean,
One of these days you're gonna try alcohol and it will change your world.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I put some of that stuff in my mouth and I just went,
That was soup. Soup is different. You can give or take soup. Life is not the same without alcohol.
but my life hasn't changed at all.
Because you haven't tried it yet.
I don't like moldy food. I don't like regular food. I don't like moldy drinks.
Oh, no. Yeah, the ferment. Oh, well. No pressure.
Okay.
And then I just kind of Teera, you'll notice is Teera is a very much a dad on this journey. Like every 15 seconds, Tira's going, like it's the fresh air and it's so nice. And she's commenting on like the bugs and the birds and just it's heavenly.
Doc is gonna look at Teera again, and he's gonna sort of, his eyes are gonna dart back and forth, and he's gonna say, Teera,
What, Doc?
would you say I haven't lived if I've never tried alcohol?
Well, I think so, but I don't want to pressure you into it.
That was a joke, Teera.
Oh, because you haven't, Doc. You're funny, Doc. You got a brain in your head.
I mean, yes, I do.
Yeah,
Vorn.
Very funny. Very
Yes,
funny,
sir.
Doc.
Make me a perception check.
All right, I'm actually gonna have to roll my big bucket of dice here.
Hey, Ricky's rolling actual
Look at
dice.
that,
Everybody
real
take a drink.
dice.
It's a
I'm going to be
celebration.
very disappointed if you roll high.
It's
I
a
sup-
celebration.
I super hate it because I wanted to stick to it, but I don't want to get rid of the game.
Listen to that sweet, sweet sound.
All right, hold on.
Make a note. It was halfway through the 18th chapter.
The day was September 27th. The time was 9:41 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I want to get my dice tray out, but I'm not gonna fish it out right now. So I'll just use my
Okay.
mat here.
Don't
that's
roll
a-
like a spaz.
That's a power 17.
Okay.
Look at that! My God, the physical dice.
It's no fun.
Ricky, Vorn, as you hear Teera and Doc are bantering. Assyria is lightly snoring. With Soren. Soren has been sort of patrolling on foot alongside. Periodically would leap up into the wagon and ride with Assyria, and then whenever Assyria fully falls asleep, Soren actually gets out and sort of keeps an eye out. So Assyria, go ahead and roll a perception for Soren as well.
Perception, that's a 25.
So Vorn, you
Very
notice that as you're sort of riding and they're laughing and talking and all this stuff is going on, Soren kind of doing what he's been doing, periodically running up 20 yards in front of the wagon. you notice as his demeanor changes, and you see what Soren sees, which is just up ahead over the rise. You see a curl of black smoke rising into the air.
Oh wow.
Not big.
Yeah.
Think Red Dead Redemption when you see a campfire.
Yes, Jake. I swear to God, same brain, bro. Here's the wavelength. We're both on it.
So Soren sees it. Vorn sees it. Vorn sees the smoke, and it's. Hey guys,
What?
I think we have company.
What?
And
Like,
just points to the direction of the smoke. You see that?
yeah.
So
Yeah, that could be anybody, Vaughn. That could be just people like us, just on the road. We should be alert, but
what is so Vorn sees the smoke, and just from the last few experiences of being in the woods and being caught off guard, Vorn is not taking any chances.
You're actually not in the woods right now. You're in more of a clearing. There's scattered trees.
Okay.
And with your perception check, you actually notice where this sort of overgrown 2-track is sort of going up ahead, and there's this rise that you're not quite to the top of, and it's beyond that on the other side that the smoke is coming from. You actually notice the remnants of fence posts and rails on the sides of the road. You see like old weathered split rail fence where some of the rails have fallen because the post has rotted away, overgrown, but it's an older sign of civilization.
Yeah. Vorn tugs over at Teera and he points over at the smoke and he goes, "What do you think that means?"
I mean, it could mean anything. It could be a little group of people like us. It could be like a small town, a village.
What's Soren? How is Soren responding to it?
Soren has run up a little bit further from you and kind of turns and is looking back expectantly.
Mm-hmm.
His ears are sort of doing this kind of constantly
alert,
but he keeps looking back at you and his tail is wagging.
Vorn looks at Assyria.
Assyria's asleep.
Oh, jeez.
I
She's
think-
zapped.
Vaughn, I think we should check it out, but I mean,
It's also just to paint this picture a little bit more. It's like 5 o'clock in the evening, so that sun is, probably an hour and a half away from setting. So you're sort of getting into that where anything that's illuminated by the sun is in golden light. The sun is on your right because you've been heading south.
Yeah.
And you can see the mountains not very far in the distance.
Teera, do you want to scout ahead? You and I can go and.
I was just gonna say, let's you and me go to the top of the ridge, see what we're dealing with, and then if it's bad, we can make a plan. Then, if it's not, we can just keep going, make camp where we're gonna make camp.
Doc, hold it down.
Wait, hold what down?
I imagine Doc goes to the edge of the wagon and just goes,
Yeah.
You just heard from the
got it.
Ford, hold down the fort. Okay, wait.
This is a wagon.
Doc, protect the wagon with your very life. Vaughn and I will be right back.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I think he's got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mizya.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Right. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's roll.
All right. Are you going on foot or on horseback?
Foot.
Foot. It has to be on foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You begin.
I hand Doc my drink, and he's doing exactly that.
You
Awesome.
you begin making your way up the road and sort of through the brush. Go ahead and make a stealth check as you're moving up.
It's one die to make this with advantage.
Oh, it's no fair. I'm now rolling 18. I got an 18.
I think I would like to make this with advantage, please. Teera's
All right.
not
Yep.
very stealthy.
One tome to do that.
Thank you. Oh my God, it's only a 7. Still.
Teera, Vorn, you're moving through the brush, and you are moving so quietly.
Stealth goggles. That's why.
But behind you, you keep hearing this shuffling as Teera, you're finding as you're moving along through the brush, you're getting caught up in these like this thorny tanglefoot, and it causes you to trip a little bit. And yeah, you're not making a ton of noise, but you're just clumsily moving through.
I realize I'm being clumsy, so I'm trying to go slow, but I am every time Vorn looks back at me, I'm just kind of going like
And he's like, mouth, Teera, put your sword away. Like, just.
okay. Yeah. And I'm just trying to be so quiet. Yeah. I don't know what this means. Okay. Vorn, I don't know what that means. And that I just keep
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that right there. Yeah.
Turning around and looking back the way you were going, now that you're up at the top of this hill, you see that you are little more than a quarter mile away from what appears to be a small town, or what's left of a small town.
Oh.
You see dilapidated buildings, buildings with broken windows. You see some sort of temple that looks like its windows are broken out. A lot of the buildings are overgrown, but not far from where you enter the town, you can't quite see what it is because just with that setting sun, and it's starting to create some shadows. Near one of the roads, you see something. It could be a building, it could be a shack, whatever, but that's where the smoke is curling up from. Somebody is here in this town.
I imagine in the cinematic version of this, as Teera like sees the town for just like a flash, she sees like her village just outside of Silvery Moon, and it's just like kind of like has to like snap herself back out of it. It's like, what should we do?
And Vorn says, he's gonna look around the landscape to see if there's anyone that's either surviving or like fighting still. He's gonna look and see what's going on.
Make me a survival roll.
You need to get closer.
You can try to get closer if you want. You'll need to make a stealth roll if you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Vorn says to Teera, like,
let me rephrase that. You don't have to make a stealth roll. You have to make a stealth roll if you want to be quiet while you're moving forward. Right. If you move anywhere forward, you can just trudge up there if you want to.
Teera, do you see anyone down there? Can you?
I want to make a survival check as well.
Absolutely.
That's a nat 20.
10.
Teera, it's this flashback to your own village that gives you a little more insight as you're looking at this town. And you realize as you're looking around, what you see is not a town that's been overrun by bandits or been destroyed by an attack. This town looks like it's just been ravaged by time. It looks like it's been long ago abandoned. Any of the destruction you see, you realize it's roofs that have sunken in, probably from the weight of winter snows. You see green-gray wood. You see places where there might have been paint is long since gone. This is a town that was or has long since been abandoned for whatever reason.
So I kind of say to Warren, I shake my head and I'm like, no, this, other than whoever's in that shack there, I don't think there's anybody in that town. I don't think there has been anybody in that town for a long time.
Okay.
So
Are we?
I think we should bring the party up and talk to those people before we make camp. I'd rather have the element of surprise than let them have it on us, eh?
Yeah. Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Huh.
Yeah. And then I at this point, Teera does kind of like turn and is not making a particular effort to be stealthy on her way back to the cart.
Okay. Yeah. If Vorn puts his glaive and his axe back and to the sheaths and follows Teera back. And Vorn's like, probably about 3 feet behind Teera the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're able to get back to the group easy enough and start leading everybody in.
While we're kind of walking, Teera would tell everybody about what we're seeing, and I would kind of lean over the edge of the cart and be like, "Oi, Saria, wake up!
What?
I don't think you'll need to be very awake and aware, but we're coming into a town. It's abandoned as far as we can tell, except for maybe one shack worth of people. So just in case they decide to get froggy and jump, we want to make sure we're all awake and aware, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Do you need a second?
Okay.
All right.
Oh no, now I'm gonna yawn.
Doc,
It's
what's your
contagious.
problem now, Doc?
Get froggy and jump?
What, you've never heard of that expression before?
That's an expression?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it
Vorn is-
mean?
My
If
father
they
used to say that actually.
if they feel like they might want to attack us. If they feel froggy and they jump.
Yeah.
Are frogs violent where you come from?
Well, practically everything's violent where I come from.
That's
Have
There's
you
not
ever
many
been
frogs, though.
have you ever been attacked by a frog?
I suppose not.
My
It's just an
brother
expression,
did.
Doc. No shit.
yeah.
So
Vornuk.
one person's been attacked by a frog.
Yeah.
It's a pretty bad expression, I think.
Teera just shakes her head
Anyways.
and pinches the bridge of her nose. It's like, I think I have a sinus infection.
All right.
And then just kind of like continues towards the one shack with smoke coming out of it.
All right. As you all are riding along on horses or on the wagon, you come into this area. And let me get rid of that. You find yourself approaching from the north. You see these handful of rundown shacks, and as you get closer, you see in the sort of center of this area, there's a few that are just the stone foundations. All the wood is gone, and you see here, not there.
Mhm.
You see here, as you approach, this is where the smoke is coming from. Right alongside the road, there is what looks like a stagecoach. Its wheels are broken. It sits kind of at an angle, uneven on broken axles. The paint is worn. The windows are covered and no light comes from within. But somebody has taken, most likely salvaged from somewhere within the town, a stovepipe. And it is coming up from the top of this old stagecoach. And it is from there that smoke is billowing out. And you can actually smell something cooking. Do you pull up the wagons and horses sort of right up near this stagecoach?
Yeah, I just kind of like, I say to Warren, I'm like, I don't think we need to like be super aggressive. It might just be a person trying to live here.
Yeah, I smell.
Make a perception check. Anybody who is looking.
14.
I got a 19.
19 as well.
Maybe I should roll natural die more often.
Yes.
Maybe.
False.
Yes.
False. Going back to name. Go ahead.
Let's see. Mizya had a natural 20, but disadvantage because the sun's still out.
Oh, I gotta roll at disadvantage. Never mind.
Oh yeah,
Never
you are
mind.
rolling.
Yeah,
So
that's a 9.
so we've got an 18 from Teera, we've got a 19 from
What's a 19?
or a 19 from Teera and 18 from Mizya.
14 from Vorn.
14 from Vorn. Doc, did you roll?
No.
Doc's not looking.
So, Doc in Assyria, you would be quite startled, but all of you see, sort of in the shadow near the back of the stagecoach where there's a tree, you suddenly see a flare of light as a match is lit. And you see somebody, and you see the glowing, and then you see and smell this sort of wild black cherry tobacco
Oh, yeah.
as somebody draws on this pipe. And in the drawing of the pipe, you see for a moment yellow eyes reflected. You see an elongated face. And you see a gnarled clawed hand holding the pipe. And then the figure steps out of the shadow and sort of hunched over at a height of, it looks like if they stood at their full height, they would probably be over 6 feet tall.
Oh.
But they are less than 6 feet because they are hunched over, holding a knobby wooden cane in their other hand. You see a red dragonborn with robes and a shawl pulled over towards the back of their head as they take another draw on this pipe and look at all of you and then say, I was beginning to be worried that you weren't going to make it before nightfall.
Oh,
Welcome to Wytchway.
This is which. Oh my god.
Vorn says, Vashuk Nukna, which is basically holy shit in orc. Like, this is witchfall.
I recognize that. I recognize that phrase, and I just kind of like nod. I'm like, did you know we were coming?
We've been watching you for the last few days.
Teera's like rolodexing through her memory. Are there any signs that we have been being followed? Like, is there anything that Teera would have just gone like, oh, whatever at the time, but is now like, or
Make an insight check.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Jordan remembers because you
Nope.
made a note about something.
Nope.
But Sarah
4.
doesn't know.
Did you say 4?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You don't have any memory of being followed by anyone.
Wow. Teera's like stunned.
You're probably weary from such a jostling ride on horseback. And in the back of that wagon, come inside. We have comfortable places for you to sleep. We have good food, good drink, and we'd love to hear your stories.
And I point at the it just looks like a stagecoach.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you probably have space for all of us in there.
You're more than welcome to stay out here. But when night falls, no rest will you find. When the sun sets, the monsters grow restless. Come inside.
Okay.
Oh my god! I kind
Can
of
we
look at I look at Vorn and I like shrug.
Can we
And
at
I
least get your
actually
name?
Oh, I do apologize. My name is Auntie Portentia.
Huh.
I look at Vorn and in Orcish I say, "What do you think?"
And in Orcish, Vorn says, I've walked into scarier situations. Without a name. I say we go. He's got a point about the monsters at nighttime.
I agree.
Yeah.
Also in Orcish.
Yeah.
And I follow. I kind of like. I make my way slowly and cautiously into the little.
She holds open the door. She reaches up and grabs the door. The stagecoach is sort of tilted slightly, but there's these angled steps kind of pulled down. She reaches up and she opens up this door and motions for you to go inside.
Doc is going to unhitch the horses and stash the wagon under a tree and lead the horses into the stagecoach.
The horses won't fit through the doorway.
Doc is going to try and push them from behind.
Oh no.
Oh dear. Dear. I'm afraid they're not going to fit inside, but do come here.
And she motions you past the tree that she was standing behind. And there is... I cannot manipulate Twitch, which I just tried to do. Let me try it over here in OBS. There is a building over here that is a bit run down, but it is an old Staples.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. So
They
Doc
should be
will-
safe in here.
Okay. Doc will take them to the stables then and put the cart in there.
As she and Doc are over there, I'm kind of peering into the. I just want to look into the door, into the stagecoach.
You see darkness, and you see stairs leading in.
Okay, like the stairs that are leading up into the door, or are they going down?
You see stairs leading up into the door, and then it's just darkness.
And then darkness. Oh my
Mm.
god. Oh my god. Okay, well,
Do you wait for Auntie
yes. I'm not
Portentia
going
to
in there
return?
myself. Yes.
So Doc and Auntie Portentia return. This this gnarled red dragonborn, practically a couple feet shorter than Doc, just sort of hobbling along, smoking her pipe.
How damn! You could have gone in. You
It
needn't
is all
wait for
dark in
me.
there. It is only dark in there.
Are you afraid of the dark, Teera the Sunveined? I wouldn't have thought so.
How do you
Doc
know
will-
my name?
I told you, we've been watching you.
But I haven't announced my name in the last 5 days. They all know my name. How do you know my name?
I know much about you. Come inside. We mean you no harm.
We?
Yes. My sisters and I play
Mhm.
hospitality to you.
And as she reaches the stagecoach, she will reach up with her cane and unhook what looked like just a rusty old bullseye lantern from the back of the stagecoach. And she sort of lowers it down, puts her pipe in her mouth, strikes another match, and lights it up. And then extends it out to you, Teera.
I take it in my hand.
All you need is but a single motive flame to chase away the shadows.
Huh.
Holding it up, you can see inside the stagecoach, and you can just immediately you see sharp shadows to either side of the doorway, but you can see what looks like the wooden floor of the stagecoach.
Okay. What's your question, Doc?
I have an answer to your question.
What was that? I didn't hear you. It's
I said
not
I
this thing.
I said I have an answer to your question.
What's that?
It was
What was
this
my
way.
Which? Oh my god! Phenomenal, Doc.
You
Thank
hear anti-portentia.
I like you.
I have that effect on people. And Doc will walk downstairs.
So Doc steps past you, Teera, into the stagecoach. As soon as you pass through the threshold, Doc, two things happen. One, Teera, Doc vanishes.
Oh my!
Teera, or Doc, you step into, well, I'll tell you in a moment.
Mm.
When I see
I'm not going to
Doc
make you wait
vanish-
till next week. We're not going to end there. But
No, thank you. Oh my god!
I
thank you.
know. I was gonna be
He's a
so
merciful
mad.
DM.
if I'd have thought of it ahead of time and it wasn't just 10 after, that would have been a great place to end.
Oh.
But
That would have
As
been
soon
great.
as- no, we don't want to cut off the
No.
session too early. I as soon as I see Doc vanish, I have kind of a protective instinct and I go forward as well.
Vorn
Holding the
says to
lantern
Teera,
out in front. What?
I got your back. Let's go. And puts like his hand on her shoulder as he goes
Oh.
as you guys walk forward.
Assyria,
Awesome, I go
Mizya,
forward.
and Soren, you watch as Teera, the light from Teera's lantern, and Vorn vanish into the darkness.
This does not feel right. Eh,
Soren has his front paws up on the stair and is sort of
course he
sniffing
do.
eagerly and wagging his tail like he sees no sign of danger.
Of course you do. Of course, this does not scare you of all the things, but a chicken in a village will scare you. That won't? All right. So she'll. I've seen weirder things in the last 24 hours, and then she'll also head in.
So everybody heads in, but nobody hears Mizya turn to Anti-Portentia and say, "Yes, yes, thank you for your hospitality. It's been a long time since I saw you." And then Mizya steps through. Anti-Portentia looks around,
We're fucked.
takes a takes a puff off of the pipe, steps up into the stagecoach and closes the door. And as she does so, there's just this sort of some sort of arcane spell is cast over the entrance. All of you who have entered, you find yourself suddenly standing in a pretty spacious and cozy cabin. You can see off in one corner. This place is probably about 30 foot square. If it were square, it's not. It's kind of odd angles here and there. There's shelves, floor to ceiling shelves. There's in one corner, there's what there not appears to, it is a very large cast iron clawfoot bathtub. You see in another corner, there is a large 4-poster bed with 3 sets of pillows. You see a variety of overstuffed easy chairs reminiscent of what you saw in the study room at the hearth in that extra dimensional space you were in. There is a mighty fire burning in the fireplace, but not making it hot in here. It's just comfortable. There is a cauldron cooking something that there is a black dragonborn standing in front of the kettle, stirring whatever is in it. And in one of the easy chairs nearest the fire, there is also a green dragonborn sitting with a basket at her feet, and she is knitting what appears to be some sort of a shawl or blanket, and there is a cat at her feet that is occasionally lightly batting at the yarn as she's knitting. And some of you might notice that as this cat, it bats a couple times at the yarn and then catches it, and then the green dragonborn sort of lightly pushes it with her foot, and the cat suddenly leaps up, wings sprout from its back, and it flies up to the mantle and then curls. And I just imagine this as this happens, you've all walked in and it's just this 360 camera pan around. I mean, these shelves on the walls are filled with all kinds of bric-a-brac. There's jars filled with, you might find a jar filled with gumballs, and right next to it is a jar filled with eyeballs.
Awesome.
There are skulls and toys. There's books galore. There's all kinds of things just all over the place. Dream catchers are hanging. There's just things. It looks like multicultural elements are all around in this place, and not a surface is left without some sort of decoration. And then the camera comes back to all of you.
Yes. I'm jaw agape. The lantern has sunk to my side, and I'm just like looking around at this place.
Vorn,
Yes.
was it just me, or did that cat fly?
Yeah. I thought I saw the same thing. Wings, right?
Yeah. Do cats usually fly?
Not where I'm from. I've never seen a cat fly. I've seen some pretty large bats. I've seen bats as large as foxes, but I've never seen a cat fly.
Okay. Okay.
Warren takes a smell, and he breathes through his nostrils. What does the room smell like?
You smell some
Surely.
kind of a hearty stew. You can smell a mixture of herbs and spices, both in terms of what's being cooked, but also in terms of you see dried herbs that are hanging in various places. You smell the tobacco smoke, and you smell like lavender, and I would say it smells like Grandma's house too.
Yeah,
Everybody
a little
knows what
overwhelming.
Grandma's house smells like. It smells like
yeah.
Grandma's house.
At Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the smell of food being cooked along with something like like incense being burned. It's overwhelming, honestly.
It is.
Especially with the cat that flew. Vorn looks over at Teera and Assyria and Mizya and is trying to get a grasp on what's going on in this room and the smell and everything. It's overwhelming for Vorn. In fact, he's going to hide behind his goggles.
Yeah. I say to Vorn in Orcish, I say, one thing goes wrong and we fight our way out of here.
About the time you're saying that, you would notice that Mizya walks in with Antiportentia, walks past you, and sits in one of the easy chairs across from the green dragonborn, and pulls out their book and just starts reading. Yes, they've already granted us their hospitality. There's no reason to stand there agape. You're not going to have to fight your way out of here.
Do you know them? You're acting very comfortable for just coming on in here.
Yes, Doc.
To be clear, I was agape because of the flying cat.
Oh.
And
Nothing else.
to be clear, we've had to fight our way out of the last time we ate almost every single time.
The green dragonborn looks up at you and sort of sets her knitting down and just says,
Oh, no need to worry about Mr. Clumpy. Mr. Clumpy is a Tressum.
What did you
Dead.
say he is? Could you spell that?
Mr. Clumpy.
Mr. Clumpy is a Tressum.
Oh my god.
Oh,
What's
my
a dressum?
God.
Well,
It's a
Miss-
flying cat.
A Tressum is a flying cat. Bit of a nuisance at times.
Seems like a delight. Do you have any liquor? Like very strong liquor?
the black dragonborn at the cauldron.
No, we have liquor. Have you ever heard of absinthe?
Oh my
I'm in.
god. What's absinthe? And Tira's eyes kind of light up for the first time. She leaves the lantern on the floor beside her.
Oh, my dear. It will be a fun night for you.
Vorn
I-
lifts up his fist as a fist bump to Teera.
I bump his fist and I walk over to the black dragonborn and I pull out my mug from Heat's Hot and Cold Drinks and I'm like,
Oh, no. Absinthe is a bit of a ritual. You have to pour the absinthe into the cup, place a cube of sugar on the absinthe spoon, and slowly drip purified spring water across its surface until the sugar and water form a lace within the absinthe, creating a sort of milky green color. Only then will you have the best tasting absinthe. And she's already, as she's talking, she's sort of moving about and pulling things down, and she actually pulls this from one of the shelves. It's this silver thing, probably about a foot across or so. It's about 1.5 feet tall, about a foot in diameter, and she places it on a table, and she takes this small round table. As she sets it down and she sort of gestures and makes like a pulling motion, and you actually hear this sort of rubbery as the table stretches out and becomes an oblong table. And where there were only 3 chairs around this table, there are now 8 chairs, one for each of you. She takes the top off this thing and she begins to do various stuff. She pours a bit of
she pulls a green bottle, and there's a bright green liquid in it that she pours into these crystal goblets. And where she's taken this lid off, there is a like a little spout that goes over. She places each one of the glasses there, and then she takes from within the center of it what looks like a flat spoon with slots in it, and sets it on top of the glass, and then pulls sugar cubes out from a bowl and puts one on each of these glasses on these spoons. And then she turns a spigot on top of this contraption, and you watch as water goes boop, 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 and just starts going drip, drip, drip.
It'll be just a few moments. A perfect time for introductions. I'm sure Auntie Hortensia has already introduced herself and let you know that we know all of you. Vornuk, Teera, the Sun-Maned, Assyria Resha, and Sorin, Mizya Helviar, and Doc. I am Auntie Nocturne.
Oh, excuse me.
And the green dragonborn pushes herself up from her chair, and she's a bit thinner than the other two.
I'm Anti-Hero. It is a delightful pleasure to make your acquaintance. Please, let us begin with some absinthe, and then we will eat, and we will share stories.
And the three dragonborn move to sit around the table, and they motion for all of you. Do you all take seats?
I said,
And as Vorn walks past Doc, he goes, "Doc, you gotta smile more."
I am smiling.
Not
that is not a smile, Doc. That is not what that looks like.
like
Doc, have a seat. Don't be rude. Doc,
What's
why?
wrong?
I don't like sitting.
Yes, you do. You're being weird. Why are you being weird?
just Doc, just let him be weird.
Teera, you suddenly feel something at your elbow, and little anti-hero, the green dragonborn, is standing next to you. She just sort of looks up at you, and you see that it looks like half of her teeth are missing. And on the end of her snout is perched a little pair of glasses, and she just looks up to you and says,
Now, dear, if the doctor doesn't wish to sit, that is perfectly okay. We don't pressure our friends into doing things they don't want to do. If you would like to have a seat, you may do so. If you would like to partake in the absinthe, you may do so. And if you would like to stand there and... well, I would only suggest, Doctor, keep an eye on that duck. Mr. Clumpy loves duck.
Oh my god. This woman is delightful. I just kind of like nod. I'm like, well, I just didn't want him to be rude. And I sit down.
does anybody besides Doc not take a seat?
I definitely sit down.
Are you sitting next to me?
Say again?
Yeah.
Oh, Vorn
Yeah.
sits next to you.
Yeah, I'm
Does
sorry.
he sit?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Mi-
I asked him if he was. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Mizya sits next to Assyria, and Anti Nocturne looks to you, Assyria.
Would you mind if I gave your wolf a bone?
Sure.
Wonderful.
And she reaches over to a cupboard, and she pulls something out, and she walks over to Soren and crouches down and places something next to him. And when she gets up to go sit back down, you see a very large femur bone.
Oh wow.
Is what kind of femur bone is it?
It
Is
does not.
person?
It does
Okay.
not look human.
Okay, good.
It's very thick, too short to be a human femur. Thick
That was
and
my only
knobbly.
concern.
Same.
Excellent.
I was like, please don't be a human, please.
Oh, don't be suspicious. Don't.
Don't be suspicious.
Now, let us toast.
And they reach for the glasses, and you see now that where the water has dripped over these sugar cubes, the sugar's mostly dissolved, and in the glass now where there was this bright green liquid, it's now taken on sort of almost a milky green look to it.
Hmm.
And they each hold up a glass, and Anti-Hero says,
Let us drink to our health.
and Anti-Nocturne says,
And let us drink to the night and the morning that comes, to each day and each dawn.
and Anti-Portentous says,
And let us drink to the past, the present, and the future.
and they all hold their glasses up and they drink. Do you all drink?
I drank.
Except for
And-
Doc.
Vorn, real quick, says, let us drink to taking the first step together.
Oh.
Aria does not either, just because she would probably be drinking water because she's still not feeling great. So absinthe is probably the last thing she's wanting to try right now.
This
Okay.
is all very grandiose, and Teera kind of looks like she's thinking furiously, which is very visible on Teera. And just says, let's drink to knowing each other's favorite color. And I look over at Asteria and I go, mine is blue. And then I take my drink.
Black.
Black is a shade.
It is not a color.
That's subjective.
Mizya, having already brought the cup up to her lip, just sort of stops and goes, purple.
Yes, Mizya.
And
Amazing.
those of you that do take a drink, you taste a delightfully smooth and flavorful. You can taste a very strong scent of black licorice, tasting the anise in there, and something bitter that you can't quite put your finger on. And you find that this small glass makes you feel very light and comfortable. You get a slight buzz from this.
God. Come, little children.
And we see
This is not good, bro.
we see as you're taking these
Dead.
drinks, and Soren is munching away on this bone, and Doc is standing there watching over everybody, and the duck, Einstein Jr., is propped up on his head, and as we pan over towards the fireplace, we see Mr. Clumpy sitting, licking his lips, staring right at the duck on Doc's
Oh
head.
no.
And the camera sort of zooms into the fire and up through the stovepipe and out into a high top-down view of this abandoned village as night has begun to fall. And all around the village, you can hear scratching and growling sounds and shadows darting in between rays of moonlight. And that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
Wow.
So good. So Halloween-y
So
heading into October.
good. Oh my
Well
god.
done.
So, yes, you have
Wow.
just met my favorite NPCs that I used like 2 years ago in a one-shot. They are the 3 dragon aunties.
Oh, I love them.
I
So
love
these
them.
are, I gotta ask, a peek behind the curtain if I may, are these Candlekeep characters or are these Jake characters?
These are Jake characters.
I was gonna say,
I
okay.
love
I was gonna say
this.
it was a year ago. Wow.
Oh yeah,
Jake,
these are 100% mine.
I love them.
Wow.
I love them.
Well,
I
we'll see.
also
We'll
don't
see next
trust
week
them.
if that love holds. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
don't trust them. I
Nope.
feel like we're gonna get
Nope.
roofied.
Nope. Nope.
Maybe
Nope.
maybe you are.
Yeah, Mr. I'd never have food or anything fun.
Well, that was a lot of
Wow.
fun. That was an intense first half,
Wow.
but great role play all throughout the session. Thank you all so much. Thank you, of course, as always, to our audience. Thank you so much for tuning in, choosing to spend a Monday night with us while we play this little game of Dungeons and Dragons. For those that weren't here at the beginning, once again, I would like to say congratulations, Gary, on your efforts working with Team Squad Up, with Quest for the Cure, and all of the fundraising you've done over the last year for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, raising over $30,000.
Great, dude. Congratulations.
Congratulations, and we are very proud to be a part of that. Yeah, be sure to congratulate Gary on a job well done. I believe tomorrow night, the rumor is that I will be over on Dice and Ice RPG. We'll be returning to Curse of Strahd. We're kind of playing it by ear with each thing as M is adjusting and getting back into the flow of things. So we may or may not be there. Keep an eye out for a tweet about that. And of course, you can tune in on Thursday for the Dawnbringers. We are in the final arc. We are 5 or less sessions away from the end of season 5, and they have just gotten a piece of information and a hint through, once again, the dream spell, not only of what the future holds for the end of this arc, but also what season 6 is going to be. So want to be sure to tune in for that. Of course, you can catch all the VODs here on Twitch for about a month and a half or so after they air. And I've been doing a better job of getting the VODs uploaded to youtube.com/mini-terrain-domain.
Lot of emotes for Jake, everybody. He's
Yeah.
been busting his ass getting those VODs up. Truly. Good job, Jake.
So I do also want to say thank you to those of you who might be sitting back, not participating in chat, just lurking because you just want to quietly listen to what's going on. Thank you. We appreciate you all the same. I'm going to take a look because once again, Jordan has done a wonderful job of reminding me that we need to do a raid.
Yay.
I'm looking. Looks like Persephoroth is doing Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Yep, Jester just ended. Josh Simons is playing Dead by Daylight.
Dream with Jen, who also worked on Candlekeep, is live too.
Wait, I don't think. Let me double check because I don't think I'm following them. But I can fix that. I thought I was.
Which sometimes does things.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll do that. But yeah, also be sure to tune in. Next Monday night for episode 19. Don't know what it's going to be
We're
called
almost
yet.
to 20 episodes.
I know.
I thought it was like 5 or 6. My goodness.
That's wild. Time flies when you're having fun.
So stick around. We are going to raid Dreamwish Gem. Don't be surprised if you jump in there if you're not following them. You may or may not be able to leave comments or emotes or anything. A lot of streamers have protections in place with follower only modes and 10-minute chats and things like that. But do please stick around, and if you're able to, just say hi. So before we go, though, I do of course have to say a huge thank you, as always, to these amazing players, Gary, Jordan, Cari, Ricky, and though he wasn't with us tonight, Dwight, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we are going to end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
It's a day.
Yes, yes.